Rahul Bat, peace and
Noone,
greetings. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. This is your brother Khonsu, the real Nuwapian, and we are right back with another live video for you guys. Give me a couple seconds if anybody, if y'all want to share this on y'all Facebook or whatever, you can share the link. Let me share really quick. Um, to a couple of my groups, and then we can go ahead and get into it. Um, okay. So, brother Constant the Written Waffle, right back at y'all with another live video. Listen, we got some exciting interviews lined up today. But before we get started, let me ask everybody give us a like and a share, a thumbs up, share the video. We streaming from two platforms at the same time. We streaming from YouTube and Facebook at the same time. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Y'all see what the topic is. Rebuttal to the Slanders Part 5. The Warriors of Malachi issue a live challenge to the Noonbus. Make sure y'all tap into this one tonight. What makes tonight's interview so special is the fact that this is the first time you have all of us on the platform together as a unified front. This is the very first time you see all these brothers together on the platform as a unified front. Okay. And so without further ado, y'all already know who I am. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and introduce the other guests, my brothers. I've been knowing these brothers for years. We've been building for years on Facebook, on social media. Me and Grand Kush have done shows before. And you guys probably remember me and Brother Taharka from Chrome TV when we did the interview for the Lightning from the East book. Let me give a big shout out to the University of Ruben Nation. Big shout out to the Nuwapian Nation. Big shout out to the Sabians. Big shout out to the Noonbus, the real Noonbus. And that's what we're here to talk about tonight, guys. We coming with the actual facts. We got receipt. We got evidence. Stuff I ain't never even seen before about Noonbus and Tarnoon. Stuff I ain't even seen before. So I'm super excited. But without further ado, I'm gonna let the brothers introduce themselves. Let's start with Brother J.Reece. Brother, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm J.Reece. You probably see me on Facebook as J.Reece. As a Nuwapian, I'm Anuk Patah. And I've been studying since I started in about 1989. And then kind of, that's back when everything was in the Ansar era. And then I got serious in 1992. And I'm from the Cleveland area. And I studied under Ibrahim, Chris Morris, Elder Green, and Genio, a few other people that the master teacher had sent out there, taught and came back and forth from New York and Georgia. And so I've been pretty much a member since 1992.
Excellent. And let me move on to our next special guest, Brother Grand Kush, official Illuminati. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother. Tell us where you're from, where we can find you at. And J.Reece, I forgot, where can the people find you at if they want to contact you on Facebook or website?
Okay. On Facebook, you can find me as J.Reece. If you look at that name, J.Reece 720, just instead of the 720, just put J.Reece twice, and I'm there. Most of my friends on Facebook are Nuwapians, so I'm not hard to find in that circle.
Okay, and before I get to the next brother, let me ask you this: how long or how in depth, just briefly, have you studied the nature books and Noon science also?
Okay. After the master teacher got locked up, it was one of those that was susceptible to the confusion that Dr. York and Afro Unu were one and the same. And after the master teacher got locked up, we were still starving for that information. And before he got locked up, we was under, I think, the set the record straight type of doctrine where we was studying nationality more. And at that young age, we wanted that telepathy, we wanted the barytheric gland, we wanted all that kind of information. So when the nature books made themselves public or reached out to Cleveland, you know, I'm reading that, and just like the mistake was made, I've made the mistake too. When I was reading, I was just saying, this got to be Doc, this got to be Doc, this got to be the master teacher, because this, you know, we was looking at listen to reason. There's certain keywords that were in there, and so I was one of the ones that thought that the master teacher had a secret pen name as Afro Uno as well.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
you know, so I studied those like with the idea that that was the master teacher, and it didn't take long before I realized that things wasn't matching up. You know, because he didn't take us to that level yet. You know, you know, the master teacher always told us to walk with him, don't try to go ahead of him. You know, so he's teaching on this, and we want to be in UFOs, and he's teaching that, and we trying to be psychics. You know, so that was one of the things. If I would have just pretty much stuck with the doctrine at that time, I would have never ventured over into the nature books and even got into that confusion. But yeah, I read those books, the ones
That's
that are
what's
available.
up. Definitely. Okay, and brother, to the brother Grand Kush, the same question goes to you. Introduce yourself, my brother. Tell us where you're from, how long you've been studying the science of Nuwapu, and your familiarity, and how long you've been also studying the nature books and the Noon science, my brother.
Oh, I think we lost his
My
audio.
AEO name is
Start over, my brother. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I go by Grand Kush. My AEO is Tut Ray. My Noonbus name is Okpu Atu Ora Ku Nupu. Been dealing with Apu since 1991. I moved from Los Angeles to Atlanta in 1990. Now I picked up the okay. As far as the Noon science philosophy, I'm one of the originators when it comes down to distributing this information and putting these books out. So I started getting some minor lessons in 2004 and acquired the books in 2008 and been going hard with the books ever since. But I would like to say there is that we're going to address tonight the disgruntled Noonbus that's going to get addressed tonight. My premise is that Nuwapu science rise together. I think they should go together. You understand what I'm saying? And this brother that we're gonna go at tonight, he tried his best to separate the science and go hard at some individuals, bully some individuals. So he gonna get that sting back tonight. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get that smoke. That's it right there.
Hey, my brother, let me ask you a question. I heard when we was building earlier backstage, I heard you mention that you actually was operating the Nuwapian bookstore in London, England. Was that correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So 1998, I moved to England, right? And got hooked bookstore out there and the tab there about 1999. And then a long story short, you know, to keep the business in that area, I managed a bookstore. So I was managed a bookstore, Halsden, UK, Stonebridge, you know what I mean? From 1999 to 2004 in the UK.
Nice. That's what's
And
up, man.
so meeting Noone. Oh well, we'll go ahead. I'll wait for that.
Okay. And to the brother Adafa Tahaka, brother, if you would like to introduce yourself, and we already know your history. We know you go way back with the nation, but if you want to give a brief description and a brief little history about yourself and how you got involved also with the Nooney Boom or Tarnoon issue.
Yeah, greetings, Rahubat, salam alaikum. Ekaro, Ekaso.
Robot.
Well, you already know my background. Well, you don't know my background actually because I've given away too much as it is. I really keep my identity. I'm part of a team of researchers. We Dr. York loyalists based in Nigeria and UK, and we just wanted to, deal with all of this slander because originally we were part of the research team that put together the Man of Many Faces, which was headed by Swedish and South African, part Swedish, part South African professor. We approached him about doing a project because we wanted the book to be an academic work. So we were part of the team, research team, and we also contributed sections of that book as well. But the way it was done was in an academic format. So that was a Man of Many Faces years ago. But my background was my father was an Ansar, and I had Dr. York's books in my house. We had Dr. York's books in our house as children. From the Yoruba book, from the whatever happened to the Nubian Islamic Hebrews, going back all the way to the books from the 70s. So when these people say to me that I don't know the doctrine and I'm new to this, I just laugh because their problem is they don't know the influence of Imam Isa. Let's go back to where he was, yeah? That name, Imam Isa. They don't know the influence that he had. There are more Ansars outside of America than there was in the US. But the Noonbus, they're the new ones to this. You see, they're the new guys to this. So they don't know the history. They're just trying to jump onto something to make money. They don't know that there were more Ansar, there were more tabs on the African continent, as well as in the Caribbean, yeah, than in the US. So the Source magazine quoted that Dr. York had 1 million followers worldwide.
Yep.
Over 1 million followers worldwide. He's distributed hundreds of thousands of books, which have reached many places. So he has supporters, not necessarily followers, because they might have lost contact with the new movements and the new doctrine, but they're supporters and they're followers of his teachings. And that's what this is about. This is about the teachings. This isn't about his personality. This is not about who his wife was. It's about the information.
That's
and
right.
His information is disseminated all over the globe.
Always.
You see? That's what these guys don't know. They jumped on it and they really don't know the history. And I'll just say this quickly about Noon Science. I don't know that much about Noon Science. From my brief knowledge of Noon Science is that in the 80s, we thought Afro Uno was Dr. York. That's what we thought, which is why the name Afro Uno is in the book. 80s, 90s, late 80s, 90s. We thought Afro Uno, everybody thought, where I was, and the circles that I've been researching in, all the followers of Dr. York believed that Afro Uno was Dr. York, and Dr. York was Afro Uno. That's why the name Afro Uno is referenced in the book.
Right.
You see? Secondly, the name Afro Uno was always associated with Dr. York, as well as Amanubi Ruakta. So Dr. York referred to himself as Amanubi Ruakta, and Afro Uno and Amanubi Ruakta are synonymous together. So it only stands to reason that we thought Dr. York was Afro Uno. It's a genuine observation, which the Noonbus tried to use to discredit the book.
Right.
So now they have to deal with us now. So that's my background really. I grew up at Ansar. My father was a follower of Imam Isa, and and I've studied all the schools. I've studied all the schools.
Damn right. All right. Well, that's a great introduction, man. I'm excited about this. I'm gonna be more of a host. I will be giving some input, but I'm gonna be more of a host tonight, man, because these brothers got some heat. The brother Taharka just dropped his new debate book against the Nooney Boo. Just dropped that. I mean, we
Oh,
got
that's
lightning from
awesome.
the east. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I'm ready for this. Let me say real quick, Rahul Bat, Cameron Goodman, Rahul Bat, my brother, Jameem McKenzie, Rahul Bat, my brother. Got some oldie but goodies in here. We got some elders in here. We got some long timers in here. You ain't dealing with no rookies. So let me ask, let me ask
Salute.
something, right? Let me ask this to Brother J.Reece. Earlier in the back chat, we was talking about um, the contradictions of Tarnoon over the years. At one point in time, he was Nuwapian. At one point in time, he's made a switch to Nooney. At one point in time, he thought that Dr. York and Afro Uno was the same person. Now he's saying they not. It's so many contradictions that we've seen from this brother over the years. Could you elaborate on that specific issue, my brother?
Okay. From what I gather is this. Um, for a while, the whole thing about Afro Uno and Dr. York being the same person, for me, was later on fueled on MySpace from a guy named Brother J, who I find out eventually would be James West, who's your Tarnoon today. And who I find out eventually, he he had blog posts put up, and so a lot of the stuff that was coming saying that Dr. York and Afro Uno was the same person was coming from him. My problem with that is now today he's turned that around and made it seem that the Nuwapians as a whole are the ones that are claiming that Afro Uno and Dr. York is one and the same, and the evidence is going to suggest differently tonight. We have a book that Tarnoon as James West, he went so far as he published a book called The Bloodline of Afro Uno. This
I'm
book
ready
is
to
for
see that,
sale on,
boy.
this book is for sale on Amazon.com. If you go look it up, if you do a Google search for it now, The Bloodline of Dr. York, you see that the book is no longer available. But there was a book written by a man named James West, and it was called The Bloodline of Afro Uno. And just in case anybody want to deny that, I have a copy of that book tonight. And when I get everything together, I share that. And there's a letter that was written. Okay, so here's what was happening. That wasn't the only confusion that was happening. Another confusion popped up dealing with Nuwapians with a B, Nuwapians with a P, and which one is right. And so, there was a whole battle going back and forth about, oh man, they changed up the Nuwapic, they changed this up. So while I'm going online, I come across a letter that Brother J wrote Dr. York. And he put the letter that he wrote Dr. York, and then he put the letter that was replied back to him. And the letter that was replied back to him, I noticed that there was the Nuwapic font, the Nuwapic font that we use today. So I was happy to see that, and I wasn't even concerned about anything else concerning the letter. I just seen the Nuwapic font, and when I seen the Nuwapic font, that let me know that the current books and the Pataraks and everything that were written by the master teacher. So that confusion of the Nuwapians with the P and the B was solved by his letter. And so I was kind of happy to see his letter. Then I came across him in the chat room one day, and I realized this was him. But something was different about him. It seemed like he was slandering the master teacher. And so further research, I noticing, yeah, he's slandering the master teacher, and I'm asking why. And so then that whole letter came about. If you see that letter is dated 2009, and this letter, the master teacher wrote him the letter back. Matter of fact, we can pull it up. I think Grand Kush got it. You got a better copy of it, Kush?
You gonna share your screen, brother? You want to show it on your
No,
screen?
I don't have that letter that you showed me earlier,
Okay.
J.Reece.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. Give me 1 second. And so,
Okay.
the letter, the master teacher clearly states that he's not Afro. Well, he didn't say that he was Afro Uno. He didn't. There was nothing to deny, or in fact, he went so far to ask Noone to ask Afro Uno something. So I don't know how out of that Noone got that the master teacher was trying to deceive anybody about being Afro Uno. Okay, let me see. Here's the letter right here.
All right. Let me
All
let
right.
you share it.
Okay. This is the letter that the master teacher wrote Noone back in 2009. And I'm not sure if you can see it clearly. I'm gonna zoom in.
Yeah, it's crystal clear.
Crystal clear? Okay.
Crystal clear.
So you see
Yep.
up here
That letter, sorry, can I just interject?
Yeah.
That letter's in the new rebuttal because he
Oh
sent that
hell
to us.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
He sent that letter to our publisher. So we've got
Yes,
that in
sir.
the new book. So continue, brother. Go on.
Okay. So inside this letter, he Dr. York was joking back with him. You know, after you get past all the Nuwapic, the man, that's what I was in there for. And so he goes, he made a joke about Afro Uno right here. We wore afros, and then Uno process here, and he put a smiley face next to it, which equivalent to our LOL today. And so
Yeah, exactly.
he said, "Have you checked?"
Sense of humor.
Right.
I always had a sense of humor.
So in the letter, Father Babia Noone wrote him back and said, "Have you checked to see which language the nature of nature inscribers speak?" So that right there, he took himself away from being an inscriber. He took himself away from being an author. He took himself away from nature completely. And he said the inscribers speak in which tongue? Nupu, Noone, Nupu, Zupu, Zupu, and all that. And then he said, and note the words Sabiism. We'll come back to that. But if you go down, he's telling Noone to ask Afro Uno a question, and then he went right here and said, ask Afro Uno, right? What is being spoken? In fact, that's what, you know. So right there, I just want to deal with. He said, ask Afro Uno. So that takes him away from any saying that I'm Afro Uno. And what I'm saying is this: if the master teacher has been pretending like he's Afro Uno since the 80s, then why is he going to admit that he's not Afro Uno to some stranger that's writing him a letter while he's locked up?
Exactly.
It didn't make no sense. He never said that he was Afro Uno. So after this letter right here, then Noone, that letter right there, hold up, let me go, let me get one more thing I want to show you before I go. I want to show you this bloodline of Afro Uno book. And okay, so I gotta share that. Let me stop that share and let me share one more thing. And this right here is gonna be, all right. Now this book right here, this is the book called The Bloodline of Afro Uno. Oh, can you see it? There we go.
Boom.
All right. The Bloodline
that's
of
some
Afro
heat.
Uno. This is Tarnoon's book. It has 46 pages in a PDF file. The Bloodline of Afro Uno. He goes so far, this book will lay rest that Afro Uno and Dr. York are one and the same. For
Wow.
too long, two groups of students called Nuwapians and Noonbus. Noonbus have been at odds of the mystery writer. All right. So he said, I will manifest the ultimate facts on the subject so that both groups can move together or separate and continue on their journey. On the following pages, I have inserted proof from different writings showing what both sides did know and didn't know, because no one amongst them could put the facts together, I guess, until he came along. So read with your own eyes and read with your own eyes and be controlled by lies and rumors no more. Okay. So inside the book, he started putting posts of the nature books. And I just want to everybody see that book is copywritten 1996. And I'll come back to that point later on. Mm-hmm. But that book is copyrighted 1996. So and according to Rod, I'm just gonna stick on this. So he put nature books, and then he underlined certain things like the science of sound right reason. So he, just like me, I seen little keywords like that, and then he said Afro Unu is and according to this book, it said Afro Unu, who is originally from Sudan in the motherland. But just so they could get away with that, because I guess eventually Afro Unu identity was going to come out. So,
Right.
and it said, and for the benefit of the reading public, it said it said you personally need to know the writer of this positive knowledge not nearly as much as you need to know the correct information. So that basically gets you off, like, don't worry about
Yeah.
who don't worry about
You know what? Let me ask you a question about that too. And brother Grant Kush, if you want to chime in on this question, if you read the nature books and what you just read, right, it does seem like it's enshrouded in a kind of mystery as far as who the heck is talking. It always shows a difference between the writer, the listener, the speaker. You know, what Grand Kush, let me issue this question to you first, then we'll get back to J.Reece. What do you think, or can you explain why it seems like it's so shrouded in mystery? Is just especially when he wrote what he just read, was basically saying, don't worry, don't try to focus too much on who exactly the writer is. Focus more on the message. Why do you think it's that way, Grand Kush?
I think we lost
Is
his
he
mic.
still there?
Grand Kush. Is Grand Kush still on?
It looked like his screen froze.
His screen.
Let me tell him. Well, go ahead and answer that question until brother Grand Kush come back.
Okay. Well,
Hold on. I hear him. You there?
Was trying to
Brother Grand Kush.
hear me?
No, you broke up. Start over. You there?
I think he has connection.
Yeah, it's a connection problem.
Okay.
Maybe he should drop out and come back in. Brother Grand Kush, I'm gonna remove you, and then I want you to come back in.
Oh, there we go.
I hear you now. But your screen look like it froze up. Yeah. You there? I'm gonna remove him. Brother J.Reece, can you go ahead and answer that, and we'll get back to him when he comes back.
Okay, what was the exact question again?
The question was, why do you think it is the identity of the writers or contributors to these works is so shrouded in such mystery?
Okay.
Why do you think? I know that's a hard question, but I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I understand what I'm gonna say is this is gonna be my opinion right here.
Okay.
Because I can't answer that question without opinion.
Right, right.
Because I don't know the mind state of where he was at when he wrote this book. But in my opinion, just my opinion alone, okay, when I see the 9-ball book, and the book, the 9-ball, let's just go with the 9-ball. Mm-hmm. When you read the 9-ball, and I don't have a copy of that book with me. If anybody have a copy of it in the forum, if they could post it, you can see that the 9-ball book, which was written a lot earlier before Afro Unu work, there was set up the 3 satellites, and remember there was the same way Afro Unu has in his book. He got the 3 different authors. The 9-ball. If you look at the 9-ball and the way the authors set up, it's the format is set up almost exactly the same way with the hidden author and satellite authors.
Right.
And but this right here, to me, it seemed like this book came out around 1996. According to the obituary, Afro Unu didn't start writing until about the early 90s, and so I'm not sure why he wanted to keep himself away from the public like that, but the book is kind of like set up almost exactly the same way as a 9-ball book, and that's why
Right.
there's a lot of
Right.
confusion between this
Yeah,
book and
it
the
is.
9-ball book.
Yeah, that's true. Brother Kush, you back with us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you real good now.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna address the question to you again. That question was, he was reading where it says you personally need to know the writer of this book not as much as the message. Is that what it says?
Yes.
Okay, so my question to you, Brother Grand Kush, why do you think, from your years of studying the nature books, why do you think it's shrouded in so much mystery as far as the identity of these group of beings or writers who's coming together to put this together? Why do you think it's so shrouded in mystery?
That's a good question, Jamal. I can't like really answer it from like their standpoint, but I'll say
Right.
in what was read, I think Afro Unu, they really wanted to play the background for some reason, and they really wanted the reader to pay attention to the information.
Right.
The thing is with the books, even though they have, I think Moonset and Sunrise was written in 75, I think maybe the 90s. I can check that out. But I know for sure the introduction to the nature came out in the 90s. Well, when they came out, those dates, they wasn't distributed in the public, right? The books didn't really come out and hit,
Right.
aside from what Taharka said about him know about Afro Uno in the 80s. I didn't, and I didn't know about him in the 90s. We didn't figure out about the books or get the books until 2008. I was getting some information in 2004, but like when I got the information in 2004 with the introduction to the nature, I was so much into Doc at that time that I thought somebody was just like, I don't know if y'all know, it's a series of writers out here, the Afronauts.
Yeah.
They've taken a lot of non-ether books and put them together. I just thought it was somebody trying to write, you know, on the sideline their version of Nuwapu or something like that. You understand what I'm saying? Just building with their mind. We came to find out it was Afro Unu, but we didn't know who Afro Unu was, and this is why that push with Tanu and Afro Unu and Dr. York being the same. I mean, he went as far as to make up names like Cypher, Nupu, and things of that nature, but we really didn't find out who Afro Unu was until that obituary came out. Right. So with Tanu, you know, Tanu wanted to be like Dr. York. You know, Tanu is a major Dr. York groupie. Me and Tanu go back to like 2007. You know what I'm saying? So we've had our times where we've even shared information with the nature of nature. You know what I mean? He's even went as far as, that's what I wanted to say when J.Reece was talking about that letter. It's interesting, in the same year, 2009, he also wrote the administration, the AEO administration. And I don't know if it's in months, if they are close, but he sent me a copy of it, and the AEO administration is telling them that Dr. York is not Afro Unu, right? But to get back to the question, why do I think it's shrouded in mystery? I just think, you know, the information is
Hey, you know,
revolutionary.
not to cut you off, you know how mysterious it is?
Yeah.
Leah inboxed me one time and said, Pops isn't the Afro Unu? Leah York. She thought
I never thought that Doc was Afro Unu. That wasn't my push. When it comes down to, my thing is, when it comes down to these science books, I was there, right? I was there before a lot of people. I've seen people separate with the books, and people separated with the books and then take the books on because of Tanun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my whole premise with these books, when we came to build with the books, was I was just thinking that it was the revolutionary aspect of Nuwapu. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when you see the breakdown of how Afro Unu breaks down Nupu, he breaks it down to nine ether energy and sound right reasoning. Well, that's the definition of Nuwapu, and sound right reasoning. You know, right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding. So when you say that Noon science is the philosophy of Nupu, you're also saying Noon science is the philosophy of Nuwapu.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So they wasn't there yet. And before they got there, Khanun was already on his bliss trip. You know what I'm saying? And he went and tried to battle against Doc. You understand? But to go back to the question, I just think that whatever Afro Uno was doing, they just wanted people to really get into the information and not worry about them and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Kush, I'm glad you said that. From studying Tarnoon has got a leadership complex. He wants to be a leader. He wants to be a scholar. He wants to be a black scholar. That's what he wants to be. He desperately wants to be a black scholar. So that's the reason he put the book out. That's the reason he runs ahead and does all this stuff to distinguish himself as a scholar. Because that's what he wants to be. He really wants to be a scholar. He wants to be Dr. York. He wants to be a black scholar. So that's a good observation. But
yeah, he didn't just put out that book. He put out a lot of books.
Well, exactly, yeah.
The Moon God Sin. He put out a book called Anu, Unmasked. He put out a book called The Mystery of Set Solved. You know.
Yeah, they're all rubbish as well. They're all rubbish. They're all garbage.
Yeah, of course, garbage.
It's all garbage. It's all garbage because he's not a scholar. He thinks he's a scholar, and he's just a wannabe. So, but there was always a rumor. There was a rumor going around the Ansar Allah community that Doc was Amanubi Raptor. That was the rumor that was going around, and that the old timers used to say that he authored a book called Behind the 8 Ball. Something that 8 Ball. Behind the 8 Ball. Something to do behind the 8 Ball.
Series.
9 Ball, sorry. 9 Ball, yep. Yeah, my mistake. Sorry, 9 Ball. I didn't know it was a series, but there was a rumor going around in the Ansar community, obviously in the US, because all of this is based in the US. So if we get anything wrong outside the US, we can't be blamed because it's you guys' story. All we're trying to do is interpret you guys' story. It's your story. So the rumor was going around that he wrote a book called Behind the 9 Ball, not 8 Ball, sorry, 9 Ball.
Mm-hmm.
So then Amanubi Rakta, the pharaoh that he referred to himself as, was linked to Afro Uno. So that's where the confusion comes in as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the confusion comes in, because it's our hypothesis that he re-released those books. That's from the available information. We've put together a hypothesis that he re-released that information, and he revised the books, and he improved on them. The original books from '66, or those teachings from '66, when Doc came out in '67, he improved on it. That's my position, that he improved on it. He re-released some literature under the publishing name Those People Who Care.
Mm-hmm.
People Who Care. And then in an interview that he did from prison, he said, I was one of the teachers of Nawabu. So it stands to reason that he's not the original, but he's a student of Nawabu who improved on it. And how did he improve on it? Through language. That's why the Noonbus will never be able to defeat an old-time follower of Dr. York because they don't know the language. You can't understand Noon science or Nupu or Nawapu without language, the knowledge of language, and the knowledge of religion. You see, the schools that he took us through prepared us for his teachings. So they've just jumped into it without those background schools. That's why they're so poor at what they're doing. That's just my observation.
I have the 9 book. If you can share my screen, I have the 9-ball book pulled up.
Okay. Okay. That's always a book that we always heard about.
This is count 1. I'm not sure how many counts there are, but you see how they got the satellite riders written by Wu Nupu, Aso Nupu, Naba Nupu?
Yeah.
And this was written in 1971.
Right.
This is way before Johnny Eugene Brown wrote his books.
That's right. His obituary says he didn't start writing until 73. So
was it 73 or was it 1993? Did Afro Onu start writing his books in 93 or 73?
No, I think it says his obituary says he didn't start writing until 73.
Okay, let me pull it up real quick. I'm gonna check.
Let me check. Okay. Because we have to be careful. These slanderers are listening to every word, and any mistake we make, they will jump on. So we have to be on point.
Okay. I have the obituary. Let me see.
Yeah.
I have the obituary. Let me stop this screen. Let me share another screen. And here's the obituary. Okay. And we could just because okay, we go down here and we say here, okay, and we'll find Johnny Eugene Brown was born on November 23, 1926 in Oliver, Georgia, to the late Howard and Daisy Lou Brown. He was the youngest of 11 children born out of a sacred union. After a rich and fruitful life, Johnny made his abrupt. Okay, I just want to go down. Johnny, okay, I'm gonna come down to okay. Johnny had a wide range of interests. He served in both the Army and the Navy and enjoyed a bout of flexing his muscle in the boxing arena. He graduated from Drake Business School in Brooklyn, New York, where he studied drafting. Also attended Long Island University, where he took several business courses. Johnny was always a seeker, independent thinker, which is a true Brown trait, and a businessman. He used his entrepreneurial talents to open up the Bumblebee, a novelty store in Brooklyn, where he served dedicated customers for several years. He then worked for the U.S. Postal Service and was pleased to retire in 1990 to devote 100% of his time to universal studies and the completion of his books. Let's see. I'm just trying to find out. Okay, you're right. He in 1973, there it is right there. In 1973, Johnny published his first writing. There it is right there. Are you searching for knowledge? If so, read me.
So that eliminates him from being the original author from the 60s.
Okay.
That rules him out from being the original Amanubi Rakta from 66.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, so look. Okay, here's what I'm looking at. And this is what the discrepancy I had with Noone. Okay, if the book was written in 1973, then we should be able to produce the book that was written in 1973. But the copyright, that's why I said I'm gonna come back to that when I showed you that Nature book. That copyright said it was 1996. Now this right here, according to this highlight section, it says his first and second books copyrighted in 1993 and 1995, respectively, were titled this. So I'm not sure if this was a typo or what's going on, but in 1973, according to this, he was in the military.
Okay.
He was in the army.
He could have still written books in the military. But the point is there was an original author, because they've got, all credit to James West. He produced the pamphlet from the 60s.
Okay.
There's a pamphlet from the 60s.
But is this book available? Have anybody read this book? Are you searching for knowledge? If so, read me. And
I've never read it.
Yeah.
You read it, Zamal?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but
Okay.
So
And
let
then,
me
okay.
go
there
ahead.
was a
Go ahead. I
pamphlet.
mean,
We were sent a pamphlet. We were sent a pamphlet by James West, which dates back to the 60s, which is supposed to be written by someone called Amanubi Rakta from 66.
Okay.
Right. That could have been Dr. York. He could have written it from prison.
Okay.
It's
yeah,
not
it's a
impossible.
possibility.
They're trying to rule out that it couldn't be Dr. York because he's in prison, but he could have written that and had it published from prison.
Yeah.
But
See, it's
but the
not
thing
impossible.
is, Afro Unu is in Dr. York.
Right.
No.
Right.
Period. That's
Yeah.
my take on it. Period. He is
Yeah,
not
true.
Dr. York. Here's the thing. Afro Unu also didn't write the BIAE. The only person in question is Amanubi Ray Afata.
Right.
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 And Ozzy Nupu and Wu Nupu and Naba Nupu. And they
Okay.
wrote the books in the 60s.
Yes.
Right. So
Okay.
they're separate individuals. They're separate individuals.
Yes.
Afro
Yes.
Uno
Right.
is different from Amanubi Rakta.
Now let me ask this because that ties into what the question that I had asked. And when you say Wunupu, Asanupu, and Napanupu, right? So if you look at that, then if you look at the 9-ball and Bible interpretations, it says Amanubu Apata, but then it also says published by those who care. So we know that I'm kind of under the impression that it may not have been just one person or being, that it was a group of beings that was receiving or tapping into this information, possibly at different intervals. And because if you listen to how Johnny Brown reads the information, he reads it as if it's just coming through him, not necessarily. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm kind of under the impression that it may have been a group of people that was once
Yeah.
together, maybe.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
It's not Johnny Brown. I was listening to the tape today. Johnny Eugene
Right.
Brown, the audio tape where he narrates the audio tape, he says, I'm just one of the representatives.
Right.
Nubi Ripu.
Right. Exactly.
Then he goes on
That's what he
to
said.
say, he goes on to say, who is the author of this work? It's Afro Uno. So he's distinguishing himself from Afro Uno.
Right.
But they
Now
said
here's
it's from
another
spirit.
key point.
Yeah.
Now here's another key point. Now let's think about that. Then let's think about Doc and how he always said it was different incarnations speaking through him. You know what I'm saying? He says things like that. He wasn't the only one saying in the beginning of the Holy Tablets. You know what I'm saying? He explained that. So it's so many similarities between the style and the format, right? Brother J.Reece, let me ask you this question. Could you pull back up the book that Noone wrote?
Okay.
And in that book, you saying that at this time he was teaching or believing that York and Afro Uno was the same as opposed to now. Could you show that and explain how he went from believing this to believing that, and kind of explain his confusion, kind of?
Okay. Well, let me pull that book back up. 1 second. Okay. Let me unshare this. Share this.
Because to me, if you look at his ideology over the years, it changes and it flip-flops, kind of. Noone.
Right. See, this is when he was. Okay. We're back to the bloodline of Afro Unu.
Hey, and let me just say this too, brothers. The way everybody's engaging with each, and this just perfect. You know what I'm saying? If anybody want to comment or cut, the way we building right now is perfect. It's coming all together. I'm enjoying the energy. We got a lot of viewers right now. Got a lot of good comments.
Mm-hmm. So with this, so he started pulling up the different. Once again, we back here again with this copyright 1996. I'm not sure which other books are available. If someone could pull up another book that Alpha Unu got that's dated in the 70s, I would like to see it. But that's a big gap to go from 1973 to 1993. You know, the obituary clearly states he published his first 2 books in 1993. So I mean, copywritten it, copywrote it, whatever. But the stuff that we have available has been available since 1996. But see, out there in New York, you guys get stuff a little bit faster than everybody else, and I guess these pamphlets wasn't massively produced. So I'm not saying it's not out there, but I'm saying what's available to the public, what gave us. I didn't see that. I seen these nature books, and this one he put up right here. See right here how to say the publisher of this transcript individually are the stars represented in Ripu, the sun, Jipu, the earth, and the satellites called Sipu. That's a similar format as the Aso Nupu, Wu Nupu, and that you see the same three authors. It's kind of like the same format that was written that was used to write the 9-ball book. And then the first publication of this transcript is in August 9, 1996, and Simu Publishers in Newark, New Jersey. It's all there. He felt I was confused as well. You know, so Noone, everybody's human. I was confused with this as well. And I was reading this, but he took it a step farther. And you know, when he went on his rant that the Nuwapians and Dr. York was fronting like he was Afro Unu, it's just not right knowledge. This is his book, and he's underlining this stuff. He's underlining this right here. Afro Unu is originally from the Sudan. Now, according to that obituary, we can see that Johnny Eugene Brown wasn't born in Sudan, unless they want to get symbolic of it and say originally from Sudan, like his people from there, or whatever. But so he took that originally from Sudan. So then he went down here and he started posting up a whole bunch of stuff about Dr. York being in Sudan. Like this picture right here. This picture was taken in 1973 in Sudan. And so he's taking that 1973 in Sudan and taking the first book was published in 1973. And he's crossed, hold on, where's that? The first book was written in 1973. Dang, I can't find that right there. Or not. Okay, that's the obituary I'm looking at. Okay, I gotta go back. I'm not gonna go there. But this right here, he utilized this. This was his work. He put this work in, and he started pulling up all kinds of different references to show Dr. York didn't do this. The Nuwapians didn't do this. He did this, and he started pulling out all this data and making it line up with the writings of the nature books. So he put his time in this, sold these books, and then I guess when he found out that it wasn't right knowledge, he took it off, but the cover remained up there. Since I seen the cover up there, I dug deep until I found this book. And this is his stuff, and he underlined little stuff like this. So this is his attempt to prove that Dr. York is Afro Unu. We didn't do that. He did that.
Noone, that you said that's 2009, right? What is there a date on that?
On this book, let me see. This book was written. I don't have a date on this book when it was written.
There's probably no date on it because he was good for doing that. But Noone thought Afro Unu was Dr. York up until 2000. I got some information with 2014, but I'm gonna say 2012.
Well, according to the letter, yep, you know what? You're right. Because even after Dr. York wrote that letter back to him, he used that letter and said, see, I told y'all Dr. York is Afro Unu, even though the letter clearly states that the master teacher denied being, well, you know, he didn't know who this guy was. And,
yeah, remember.
And somehow he remixed it still and made it and took the letter that Panabab Yanun wrote him back and said in this letter that he tried to deceive me into thinking that he was Afro Unu. And that's false. So 2009, Dr. York writes Tarnoon back and tell him he's not Afro Unu. And still after that, until about 2014, you say he's still with the agenda?
Well, check this out. When he got that letter, when he wrote the administration, the AEO administration in 2009, he sent me a attachment of the letter they sent him, but the subject matter was, "Hey Kush, look at this is funny. Afro Unu, Doc is being funny." That's what he said. He said, "Kush, look at this. Doc is being funny." When the administration said that Afro Unu isn't Dr. York, he thought Dr. York was playing games with him.
Oh,
That's 2009. Yeah.
that's
So that's the same
2009.
year that Doc wrote him that letter, and he got the same breakdown from the administration. But like you said, he still went on and said Afro Unu was Dr. York because that's how he had it in his mind.
Right.
Want to be a leader and an authority and a scholar and an intellect. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, he's been fumbling that. Like you said, he's the only one that really pushed that.
So check it out. So he goes even further, and the obituary got the names of people. So I went and did my search too, and I found all the people that's on that obituary. Most of them live in North Carolina. I'm in North Carolina now. So he went and found the wife of Afro Unu.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure when he put up stuff, I make sure I get a copy of it because he's slippery like that. He'll put something up, and then when you find out there's errors in it, he'll take it down, and then he'll still front like we the ones spreading the misinformation. I have an audio right here, right, that I want to play. I don't have to share a screen enough for you guys to hear it, but this right here, he's talking to Joy Brown, the wife of Afro Unu, or Johnny Eugene Brown, rest in peace. And I want you to hear something that's real interesting. He mentioned Dr. York in a negative way to Joy, and he mentioned the court case, and he's spreading his slander and stuff like that. But what's amazing is when he mentioned Malachi, Joyce, not Joyce, but Joy knew who Malachi was or was familiar with that name. Listen to this. Okay, hold on, let me see.
He was alive, so I won't be. But I'm gonna have somebody call you, and they probably will meet with you. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. It'll be like our niece, his niece, and I'll see if she can get with you and meet with you, and she will always really get you his books and all of that. Right. Yeah. Like I said, we don't want to infringe. Like I said, if the reason why I'm just saying that because I really want to just put everything on the line, and it's really important that his story be told, especially with the Malachi Z. York thing, and Malachi in jail for 135 years, and the molestation. He's in jail, yes, ma'am. He there.
Whoa! Stop. Wait. Did you hear that? Yeah. Okay. So Joy, this is the wife of Afro. Just listen to me for a second. Noone writes Dr. York and asks him about Afro Unu. Dr. York don't know about Afro Unu. Noone calls Afro Unu wife, but Afro Unu wife is familiar with the name Malachi to the point where she's surprised that he's locked up. Listen to it again.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, we don't want to infringe. Like I said, if the reason why I'm just saying that because I really want to just put everything on the line, and it's really important that his story be told, especially with the Malachi Z. York thing, and Malachi in jail for 135 years, and the molestation. He's in jail, yes, ma'am. They arrested him in 2002, May.
Okay, now think about this for a minute, because in 1973 he wasn't calling himself Malachi. The Malachi Z. York name didn't come into the 90s. So for Joy to know the name Malachi and dealing with this information, she knew who Malachi was. He didn't have to go into deep explanation about it, and it sounded like she was surprised about it. But that goes if the widow knows Malachi or his name or familiar with that name, then Johnny Eugene Brown had to know who Malachi was too.
Well, first of all, I think he very disrespectful for calling Mrs. Brown.
Oh man, very disrespectful.
Elderly. She's elderly, you know what I mean? But have you seen the picture of Dr. York and Afro Unu?
No. You got that?
I think I got it with me. But there is a picture of Afro Unu and Dr. York looking face to face on the land.
It's in the book.
What book? Hey,
it's in the book.
I need to see that, yo. I need to see that. Who has? Can we pull that up?
Yeah, pull that up.
That needs to. Hey, please, somebody pull that up. I need to see that.
Page 252.
I have to buy the book. 252. I'll buy the book.
Got it from Grand Kush.
Hold on. Let me go get the book.
Yeah, I gotta see this. Hey, look, this. I need to see this. I need this for my archives as well.
We got this information from Grand Kush.
How when this is over with, I'm gonna follow whatever links I need. I'm gonna purchase your book. By the way, I just want to let you know.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thanks. So this is information that we obtained from Grand Kush, because everything we put in there we reference and we give credit to people.
Okay.
So right. But sorry, go on.
So where was Afro Unu at?
On Tamaray.
Tamaray.
Yes, sir.
Has anybody heard Prince York interview the elder from the Ansar era?
Yeah.
He spoke on Afro Unu, said he used to ride the train with him and everything, and know who he is and everything, and said that he was a follower of the teachings.
That's right. The chief, chef Otis.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it right now.
Okay. Yeah, but
Noble.
I do agree that was just, I would have never called her, especially in a tape conversation. And if you could, this guy, man, if you hear the way he was talking to her at the beginning, like he just came off disrespectful. Instead of just coming and explaining his intentions and whatnot, he's asking her questions to prove her identity and who she is and all this mess.
Hey, what page was that?
I'm looking for it.
252.
Oh,
252. 1552.
Okay. Oh, I thought you said 242.
252.
Got you, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, Grand Kush, I'm glad you said that. He's very disrespectful. He's very disrespectful.
There you go.
And
let me see.
He's He's very disrespectful to contact the widow.
What?
Yes, sir.
What?
Yes, sir. So,
man, how did you find this?
It came up. It came up, bro. I didn't produce the pic.
Oh,
I can't claim it at all. I can't claim it.
I think brother Al Carter. I think Al Carter got that picture as well.
I'll pick up the Al
Carter. I don't know where he got it from,
but I
know he got it.
Al Carter got some. He got some history, bro, with his picture.
Oh yeah, he do. Bro. He does. He definitely do.
You know what I'm saying? That's what killed. That's what. See, I don't even say Nooney Boo. Like you know what I mean? It's Tanun, it's Quipu, it's
right.
And it's Anu. You understand what I'm saying?
That little sect.
Yeah. And when that pit came out, that killed them. They should have really shut up right then.
Oh man.
But we still dealing with it right now. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to bow down. It's the ego. It's the spirit. The spirit is possessed. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Noone science goes deep. You know, Malachi talked about it too. Spirit possession. You know, we got.
Here's a good comment from the brother Tonka Amon. Afro Uno is a pen name. Ooh, that's a possibility.
That's very true.
With Tonka, with that one, I'm a disagree with that because I'm gonna say I think UG Brown is Afro Unu, who was on the obituary, and he passed away in 2011. So check this out. We didn't get the books till 2008. Right. 2 years later, Afro Unu passes away, but we didn't get the obituary in 2005. I mean 2015. So from 2008 to about 2012, 13, if you was familiar with the books, then you thought that was Dr. York naturally, like Taharka said. You know what I mean? It just so happened that A Nova, now check this out too with the 9-ball and the BIAE. Noone was never on the 9-ball and the BIAE. I put him up on that.
Right.
His girlfriend at the time had the 9-ball, but he didn't have a copy when he said he was a Nuwaubian back in 1995. A Nova Nupu by the name of Joel Berkeley, he was a heavy Nuwaubian as well. He told me that him and his crew put the 9-ball and the BIAE on a website to be downloaded in 2004 on a website called Get From Behind the 9-ball. And that's the only place that I heard that you can get the 9-ball and the BIAE.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Can I just say, because I'm not here to say anything nice about him.
Yep, doesn't me either. Me either.
No, I know. You know, I watched your video today. Where you're saying about him contacting the wife. He's a scumbag. He's a slime bag.
Scumbag.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
What he does, he doesn't have any scholarship. So what he does is he's a snitch, and he sneaks around contacting people, sending people emails, and trying to harass people for information, and also spying. That's what he does. He doesn't have any scholarship. There's no scholarship. It's always slander. That's what he is. He's a slanderer.
Yes, sir.
A debunker.
Yes,
that's what he is.
Yeah.
There's nothing scholarly about what he's doing. And he's a snitch as well. He's a snitch.
He called CPS on Prince York.
That's right. That's right. But if you listen to that conversation, if you listen to that conversation with the police, you see, if Prince York abused the child, I'm all for him being punished for it. But if you listen to the conversation, he's talking about Dr. York's past. He's talking about the Nuwaubians. He's dry snitching that you guys call dry snitching. He's giving all background information about the Nuwaubians and Dr. York. And he even refers the police officer to Chuck Morgan's website. You see? So that is informing.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it is. He's an informer. That's as far as I'm concerned. That's what he is. We call that informer. That's what he is. He's a scumbag.
Here's another funny thing. Tariq Noel, Nicole, Barbara Noel, I think. I forget her Nuwaubian name. It started with a B.
Bill Kiss. She was Bill Kiss.
Bill Kiss, that's correct, Harker. Yes, sir. Thank you. Noone used to go so hard at them defending Dr. York.
Yeah.
Like Bill Kiss was getting it from James West, man. Yeah. And then to turn around and to agree with them with what happened with the master teacher. I mean, it's shame he knows better. I mean, he was defending Dr. York up to 2014. I just think because he got mental health issues, man. I mean, like
Noone does what Noone does for his own agenda. So it suited his agenda. It suited his agenda to promote Dr. York as being Afro Uno because he's wanted to represent Noone science for a long time. So that's what he wants to do. That suited his agenda. So now he's gone against Doc because it suits his agenda now. He does whatever he can do for his own selfish agenda, which is just make money and a name for himself.
Well, right now, man, he's all the way back up against the wall because he's hoping that that's why he's getting in contact with the late Afro Unu's wife right now because he's trying to get more information. Like we got him really back up against the wall. He really ain't got nowhere else to go. But that's science.
That's right. He doesn't have any scholarship, so he has to go sneak around, phoning old women and trying to get information. Deal with the scholarship. You say you're gonna debunk my book. I'm a Nigerian fraudster, yeah? So come and deal with this book. Stop trying to contact old women. Come and deal with this book. That's why I'm here.
Hey, Taharka, he can't get with the book, man.
That's all. I said, if I'm a fraud, I'm a trash researcher. Come, let's deal with the book, page for page.
This is a proper written book, bro.
That's it. Simple. I got nothing to say. What I got to say is in the book.
Yeah, salute to the book, man. This is a good written book, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah. According to them, the book's trash and it's poorly researched, and we're trash researchers. So if we're trash researchers, come, let's bring out a book to rebuke this book, or come, let's debate the book. That's it. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah,
simple.
That's not gonna happen though, because they have no book writing skills at all, aside from stealing whole pages and just plagiarizing and things of that nature. So yeah, you'll never get a book to contest yours, bro.
Can I just say also, they're getting too much credit and airtime because this book is a history of Dr. York, as we know, yeah? It's a history of his teachings. Doc's teachings are so wide, and they're so wide and so huge. The area that his teachings covers, yeah? This Noone stuff, yeah? I know that you follow it. I'll give respect to it, yeah? But it's only a small part of it.
Yeah.
It's a small part of what
it's an introduction.
Dr. York has taught.
Right.
You see? Small part of it. Even Chuck Morgan, the so-called great Chuck Morgan, he can't debunk the old school teachings because they're infallible. You see?
Yeah, here's the thing about Afro Unu, right? This is well, like you said, the master teacher's information is so expansive. It depends on even what you pay attention in the WAPU. Like, my head guy in the UK, head of our tabernacle, he didn't even believe in aliens and UFOs. And I was like, how are you a Nuwapi? You know what I mean? But it depends on what you're looking at in the information. So Afro Unu, that goes back to the 17 million. This is like some of my first questions that I was coming out with. That goes back to 17,250,000 years ago with Nuwapu.
Yeah.
Right. And then he goes into pantheism, and then he goes into religion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, Afro Unu brought the other quarters to that, right?
Okay. Right.
The other 72 million years cycle. So that's why I think Dr. Malachi York and Afro Unu, if we don't know, they probably know each other.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just, that's just a guess. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's some things that Doc says, and it depends on what you're paying attention to, that Afro Unu goes a little bit deeper into.
Yeah.
So the thing with Noone is, when we had the books, we had a Noonbus group that was closed, and the rift started from there, right? With this obituary that came out, because Noone didn't have it first, so he wanted to flex. You understand what I'm saying? And go at Doc. But 2015 is when the rift started, so no one got a chance to read the introductions to the nature of nature. And to Harker, you're right, because they are just introductions.
Yeah.
And that's key, brothers. That is key. Because in Black Book, Sacred Records of Atumre Part 1, Doc says the same thing in a different way. He says, these scrolls itself are not the science of Nuwapu, but the diligent reading, profound understanding will tear down the barriers, open the mind, and prepare you. So this is an introduction to the nature. So that's why I be telling a lot of people, especially a lot of newcomers, don't get caught up on just the books. The books are the stepping stones to guide you to the higher level where you can tap into Nupu or Noon. You know what I'm saying? It's this non-ether or this etheric energy.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? This mind energy. That's what it's about. And these brothers they can't get past that. Noone, them, they can't get past the nonsense. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah. That was a very good point, Zamal, that you made right there. Very good point, because what Noone and them are are missing is the caring aspect. If they even following the WAPU, the non-boss says for those that care when they release the information. So they just missing that tact. You understand?
Right.
And once we rob them, this little movement that they trying to have, then I mean, it's over for them.
Yep.
It's
Now
over.
let me read this comment real quick from my brother, good brother here, Anna Paul Top. Big ups to the Man of Many Faces, part 1 and 2, and Lightning from the East. Help me know more about Doc and help me with his case. Big shout out to my brother Anna Jeb, and he ain't lying. This is the most in-depth autobiography of Malachi. Matter of fact, it's the only autobiography of Dr. Malachi York in existence. But I want to read something right here. Page 501, where it talks about Noone.
Yeah.
Okay. It says James West, because a lot of people may not even really know who this guy is. I mean, they don't have a big following. They don't really operate in the way that they should be. They don't have any bookstores. They're not working on economics, finances.
They're YouTubers. They're YouTubers.
Exactly. YouTubians, as Dr. Umar Johnson say. Intellectual masturbation, YouTubians. Big up to Dr. Umar, man. But let me read this. It says James West, formerly known as Brother 1M Nupu. And you want to know what's funny? My first name is James. His name is James. And then my Tamaran name is Khonsu, and he was known as Khonsu too. That's what made me don't even like him. Yeah,
that's crazy.
So now I gotta say who the real Khonsu, the real James.
You got to bust him up, bro. You got to bust him up, bro.
The real Khonsu, stand up.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we got James West, formerly known as Brother 1M Nupu, more commonly known today as Noone, is a native of the Bronx region of New York, street hustler, con man, bisexual, former drug addict, and yet another mentally retarded, unstable, obsessed sycophant, delusional ex-Dr. York fanboy, and disgruntled ex-follower of the Nubian leader, turned slanderer of the Nubian organization. If that ain't the most brilliant description of the if that didn't hit the nail on the head, oh my lamb, that was brilliant.
Oh my
God. It says,
can I give you a history of the animosity with me and this guy?
Yes, sir.
What it was is they sent an email to our publishers, yeah? He sent an email to our publishers trying to get through to Jovan Christensen, yeah? The lead author. So we've got it in the new rebuttal. It's the whole transcript. The whole transcript is there. So he sends an email inquiring like he does, the snake that he is, inquiring, trying to put the author off Dr. York, saying that, this guy, why are you writing a book supporting this guy, about his charges and things like that. So he's trying to bring animosity between the author and Doc. So those emails, obviously, those emails are sent to us, right? So throughout the email exchange with him and the author, the main author of The Man of Many Faces, the author says, look, this information was passed to us by people that are affiliated with the Nubian movement. That's obviously myself and some others, yeah. So it had nothing to do with him. This information is us that we about Afro Uno being Dr. York. We thought he was Dr. York. So then, because he didn't get the information he wanted, he started going on YouTube. We didn't respond to him. We didn't respond to him at all. We just archived that information so that we could study it and dissect it. He sent us loads of information about Afro Uno, about Johnny Eugene's obituary, everything. So we just archived the information and we had no intention of using it. So then he starts going on YouTube saying, oh, this book, The Man of Many Faces, is unfactual. So he starts throwing shots. So then I started going into their chat rooms and versing them. I started taking them on in their chat rooms. attacking them and asking them questions, taking them on, all of them by themselves, asking them questions. So as I'm asking them questions, I start to realize these guys don't know shit. They don't know nothing. So what I did is I transcribed everything to use at a future date. So he's the one who started slandering the book. He tried to debunk the whole book, The Man of Many Faces, the entire book, based on Afro Uno's name being in there and it being spelt wrong. Those two things. He tries to dispel a book of 980 pages. So what he does, he's a slanderer. That's what he does. He's a slanderer, and yeah, he's a destroyer. That's what he does. He tries to tear people down. That's what he does.
Right.
So that's why I'm coming after him now, because he started it.
Exactly.
He's been doing it for years too. He's been doing it for years.
Now let's talk about that, guys. Let's talk about that for a second, because we are all familiar with this brother in some way, shape, form, or fashion. After my encounters with him, I did a video with the brother Malachi Disciple. Shout out to Malachi Disciple. I ain't been seeing him on YouTube lately, but we did a whole video explaining that, and then brother me and Grand Kush did a video as well, building on that. And this is what we're saying today, and I want them to listen loud and clear, because I know they're watching, got their spies. Well, this is what they do. They troll our videos, troll our Facebook, troll our Facebook pages. Yeah, and then go back and make their little crappy videos. Yeah, then they go back and make their little crappy videos, only get 20, 25 views. And nobody is really paying these guys any attention. But what we're doing right here, right now, as warriors of Malachi, we're issuing a live public challenge to Tarnoon, Quipu, Anoop, and whoever else want to join them. You see the four right here, right now. We talking 4-on-4. And we calling y'all out, because we're busy. Each of us have busy lives. Each of us do all kind of stuff in our own personal lives. Each of us got stuff we working on. We don't have time to make a video about you every 2-3 times a week. You're not even that important. So we're gonna issue this live challenge. Step up to the plate and debate us live. We can get on Sarnetta if you want. I can pick up the phone and call brother Sarnetta, and we can make it happen. But what we're gonna do is shut you down now, box you in now, and call out and issue the challenge. And if you fail to accept the challenge, you're gonna lose automatically. All right. So I just wanted to say that, because all of the brothers on this platform been dealing with these clowns for years. You know, especially brother Grand Kush and brother J.Reece. So we just want that to be said. Let me finish. I want to finish real quick. Okay, it says, it says, Tarnoon would later go on to hijack the teachings of Afro Uno, the author of the Noone Science publications, as his own. However, as we have previously clearly demonstrated, Tarnoon's assertion of the identity of Afro Uno is grossly mistaken and is contradictory. Now that the brother J.Reece, showed us that book, I never knew he even wrote that book. It says, then it's just going on to say the little stupid little DVDs he made, and the slander against Prince York. These four right here, 4-on-4. 4-on-4.
Yeah, Minister
The gloves
Splinter.
come off.
Put
up or shut up.
Yeah, definitely.
Simple.
So I just wanted to read that. Brother J.Reece.
He won't accept it because he's a coward. He hides behind Queep, or whatever her name is. So that's it.
Exactly. Brother J.Reece, let me ask you a question. Based on your history with battling Tarnoon, and based on your studies of the nature books and Noone science, how do you view the two together, Noone and Nuwapu, nature books, writing out versus writing out. How do you relate the two, and how do you apply both? Oh, we can't hear you.
No sound.
No. You might have to drop out and come back in. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're gonna let him come back in. While he's coming back in, I'm gonna show up because I just remembered something, brother Garen Kush. You mentioned. Well, first of all, let's do this. Let's do this real quick. Let's do this. Let me share the camera. Let's show how obsessed these people are with these four, especially brother Grand Kush and me and brother Taharka. Brother J.Reece is the silent weapon that we're bringing out of retirement. Right? We're bringing J.Reece out of retirement now. You know what I'm saying? We've been on the battlefield. Now it's time. We're gonna put J.Reece on them now.
That's what's up.
Let me share. Hold on, let me share my screen real quick. Okay, there you go. All right. I still can't hear you, man.
You got your mic on mute?
I don't think so. It ain't on mute. Yeah, because his mic ain't showing mute.
Yeah, stuff should be acting.
Edit mic settings. Yeah.
Adafa, you still there?
Okay. We're gonna see if you come back in. But until then, I'm gonna share my screen.
Go ahead. All right.
And let's look at some of this crap.
You're gonna see a lot of me on there.
I know. You're the number one, Grand Kush. That's why. Listen, do you realize these people are crapping in their pants right now, seeing all us on the same platform?
Yes, sir.
Can I just say something?
Uh-huh.
Can I say something?
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
The reason I keep my identity concealed is because I know that's all they know how to attack.
That's it.
I've studied them for years. All they know how to do is personal attacks.
Yeah, man.
So why?
There we go.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah,
I don't think that he represent the Noonbus or that information well at all. And because like I said, before I realized that Dr. York wasn't Afro-Onu, I read all the nature books, and there's nothing in there that that supports the way he acts at all. He's on a phone call with Joy Brown. If you listen further in that audio, she says that she was looking on the internet and she seen people arguing about Afro-Onu and then cussing and all that, and she said that he wasn't that type of person, you know. So he's not a good representation of that information. And listen to the kind of stuff he do. Listen to this audio right here I got. This is him talking to the police.
And so it's called Nawapians. That's what they're called. Nuwapins. And it was started by Malachi born in Boston, but he was a career criminal from the late 60s all the way. He started in Brooklyn, and then they moved down to Georgia after they left upstate New York. And like in the mid 90s, he went down there in Edenton and had the pyramids, and they ended up finding out that he was abusing those children, and they arrested him, Sheriff Salesman, about like May 8, 2002. And I think it was N-U-W-A-P-I? No, it's N-U-W-A-U-P-I-A-N. Nawapian. Okay, got it. Yeah, with an S. And also, matter of fact, use the same word, right? Just write it again and put .com on it. Nawapian. Matter of fact, put Nawapianism. I'm sorry, after the N, put ISM.com. And that's another friend of mine named Chuck Moore, who also is an ex-member. That website is dedicated to all of the documents, the jail records from the past, what happened in the court case, the information that they're teaching. And the reason why I'm contacting to you is just to get some type of confirmation that something is going on as far as the case, because they have the core teachings is they're doing something that's called the Golden Child, where they actually.
Okay, that's the kind of stuff he do.
Right, man. That is crazy, man.
That's what he do.
Who has time to actually do that?
Because he's a snake. He's a snake.
Exactly.
But
now I wanted to show. Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead.
No, I want to make a quick point of how stupid he is and how he lacks scholarship. I was watching Grand Kush's video earlier, where Grand Kush says where they always made a big fuss out of Nuwapu and Nuwabu, yeah, the difference.
Right. That
Dr. York came along and changed it to a B, and that shows that he's disinformation. But I posted on Tarnoon's YouTube page the other day that the P and the B are interchangeable in ancient languages.
Facts.
I saw Grand Kush mention that today on a video I watched, and I was just jumping for joy, because if Tarnoon had been a student of Doc, he would know that this simple linguistics in ancient languages, the B and the P will be interchangeable, especially in ancient languages. Ancient African language, P and the B will be interchangeable. So, as you pointed out, as you found in the Medunetta, it comes all the way back to Noob.
Exactly.
The breakdown will be NWB, Noob.
Facts.
Which we pointed that out in the Man of Many Faces, that Nuwabu or Nuwabian is an extension of the word Nubian. That's all it is. It's an extension of it.
Yep.
That's all it is. Because Doc was a linguist. No, Doc is a linguist. He's not dead. He's a linguist. So he just expounded on the word Nubian. So Dummy makes a video during the week, which I've downloaded, and he says, "Oh, there's no such. How could Nubian mean gold? There's no such thing as gold people. There's no gold people walking around."
Oh my God.
Fine. That gold is a description of the land, the resources. Because if we go back to ancient times, the Egyptians colonized the Nubians for their resources. The same way France colonized West Africa, parts of West Africa.
Yep.
So they refer to the people, they refer to them as a description of the resources they have in their land. So Nubian means people of the gold land. It doesn't mean they're gold. They're walking around made of gold. No, it means they come from the land of gold, where gold is abundant. If we fast forward to the colonial times, we have a country in Ghana called the Gold Coast. Again, the colonizer is describing the resources in the land. It didn't mean the people were made of gold. It means that there was abundant gold in the land. We also have a nation called Ivory Coast in West Africa. The French called it Ivory Coast, not because the people were made of fucking ivory. but because there was abundant ivory in the land. This is simple, right knowledge. You see?
Right.
There's abundance of resources in the land. So they named the land after the resources, and then they named the people after the resources. So the people from Ivory Coast are called Ivorians. The same way the people from Nubia are called Nubians, or to an extension, Nuwabians.
Right.
That's all.
Exactly. That's all it is.
So when
That's
I
an
put that in his
actual
comment
fact.
section, when I put that in the comment section, he deleted the comment and ran away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Simple.
so what we have, and that's an actual fact. Don't believe us, check it out. What we have here is a list. This is their little YouTube page. And what they like to do, obviously they have tons of free time on their hands that they can
Yeah.
make videos back to back to back to back, part
That's
1,
right.
part 2, part 3, part 4.
That's right.
All this
That's
can be
right.
settled in live debate.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, all
Simple.
this can be settled in a live debate. They will not step up to the plate. So,
No.
just addressing, I think this is the first kind of one where she's saying,
damn, Jacob, this
your
shit
research
crazy.
is trash and all this, right?
Oh, yeah, she got everybody on the panel up there. Dang.
Exactly. And that's why, yeah, and that's why we wanted to do this video together.
Word.
You see what I'm saying? So, the point of the matter is things that they're saying, right? It's just mainly gossip and slander and trash talk, right? They don't really go in depth when it comes to the teachings.
True.
You see,
That's
they
right.
don't go in depth when it comes to the teachings.
She tries to. She tries to.
Right.
She tries
Right.
to. She said on the video that the Phoenicians were Hindus. Arabs and Phoenicians were Hindus, which is a joke, because the Phoenicians were Africans from the Afro-Asiatic Semitic bloodline out of Africa. Nothing to do with
Right.
Hindus. So she
They were the
tries to
7
talk
and
about
8
people's
ether.
research, but it's a joke. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
Right. Now, this is a post that the brother Grand Kush made on May the 28th in our group, Rebuttal to the Slanderers. And he's saying that let me show this. He said, first Tarnoon says Nuwapu is pantheism. Then he said Nuwapu was religion in the worst way. Here it says Nuwapu and Noone are the same. Jane West says it isn't, but stating now it is. So here we have more contradictions, more confusion from Tarnoon.
That's what it is. Confusion.
You see, and that doesn't make any sense because this is the same way he was confused about Afro and Dr. York.
Yeah.
That's
and if you go to the book Wunuwapu, the actual fact, which is really just a upgraded version of the What is Nuwapu book, right? Knowledge book, right? And then that book in itself has remnants or portions of older information from the Nine-Ball and Bible interpretations and explanations books. And because we know that Doc always, upgraded his teachings, but some of the stuff, like he would say, repetition is necessary for clarity, for emphasis.
Yeah.
So as we came back full force with Nuwapu, then he reintroduced a lot of those old teachings and concepts that was in the older doctrine when he brought Nuwapu back. So I just want to read this. This is the Wunuwapu Actual Fact, which is an upgraded version of the What is Nuwapu Right Knowledge series, which is an upgraded version of the Bible interpretation and Nine-Ball. It said, and notice, let's see the links here. It's the same thing that the brother just read from the older books. It says Nuwapu is divided into 3 degrees: Wu Nupu and Asanupu and Nabanupu, called Wu Nuwapu. We only give its true meaning from mouth to ear. Okay, I'm gonna jump to 2. It says, yet here for Nuwapians I will speak on it. It's pronounced as Nuwapu or Nuwupu. It stands for right knowledge, right wisdom, right understanding. The key to transform information into outformation. Nuwapu is all comprehension. He's explaining what it is. Line 7. Nuwapu is the science of science and the science in science. Nuwapu predates dates and time. That's familiar. That comes from the older books, right? Now watch this. It said Nuwapu is the science that it always existed in and beyond time and space. Then it explains the sun cycle and moon cycle. It says Nuwapu is the science of the original creative forces and the original forces of ether of the African people in general. Worded just like the nature of nature, but in the nine-ball and stuff. Now here's the key. Here's the key that shows that this fool is crazy. It says this line 14, 6,000 years ago, Nuwapu gave way to isms, took on pantheism, paganism, polytheism, and monotheism. In accordance with Earth's time cycle law of change, it became religion as you know it today. Religion is a system of faith, beliefs. You see what I'm saying? So now here is another good key. 15. But every 24,000 years at the end of the 4 cycles is born a reformer, an avatar, Illa Mutajessid, which is the Arabia for incarnated divinity.
God in
incarnation. Huh?
God in flesh.
Right, exactly. It says an incarnation called Pamunzul Natar Amanubi Re'apata, to renew in our story and to bring in a new cycle of race. So that clearly explains what Nuwapu is and what it isn't. So why do you guys think that Tarnoon and his group are so, why do they misinterpret things? How can he say it's a religion, it's pantheism, it's this or it's that, when the books always told you clearly what it is and what it is not?
True. Can I piggyback off that what you wrote? Spoke of them all, what you read.
Yes, sir.
It says Nuwapu is the science of sciences and the science in sciences, right?
Right.
Now we know Nuwapu is talking about Nuwapu as a science, but when we say Nuwapu, we don't say Nuwapu science. We say Nuwapu, and we understand what that is. It's the science of sciences and the science in science. Noone, the philosophy of Noone is considered a science, and I say Nuwapu is within that science of Noone. Nuwapu is Nupu. So like I was saying earlier, Noone science is the philosophy of Nuwapu.
That makes
Not
sense.
the other way
Yeah,
around.
that makes
Not
sense.
the other way around. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, when we go into Nuwapu, we got to say Nuwapu is non-ether energy. And that's the same definition as Nupu.
Right.
Right? So
and it's
that's
also that
what
same
they're
root, that
overlooked.
same NWB root.
Right. There you go.
Oh, can I just say, the gold
Yes, sir.
issue to do with Nubia, where you found in the Medunetta, Nawaba, yeah?
Yep.
You notice that Budge doesn't give a translation because the word is so old, the real meaning is lost to history.
Yep.
Gold is just a description of the land, of the resources. The real meaning, he doesn't even know. He puts a question mark, as you pointed out.
Big facts.
That's how old it is.
Right.
Brother J.Reece, you wanna tap into that?
No, you guys said plenty. I'm just chiming in. I'm not chiming. Okay. I'm just listening.
Okay. Now,
can I just give a shout out? Sorry, can I just give a shout out to? We have to give a shout out to Nupu.org.
oh,
what
heck
those guys
yeah.
have done.
Oh yes. Yeah,
the video. Go on.
you know, one of the brothers passed. He transitioned to the other side a couple months ago.
Which brother was that?
That was brother Dajir Ray. I can't remember his regular name. I just know his AO name. That's the younger brother.
That's how I first found out about you.
Right.
I first found out about you.
Yep.
From those guys' videos.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you were supporting them. But the good video for everyone to watch is Dr. York is Aminubi Rakta, and Aminubi Rakta is Afro Uno. That's a very good video to watch.
Yeah.
Even though
those brothers put in a lot of work, man.
Yeah,
a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of good work.
Even though we know he's not Dr. York, Afro Uno is not Dr. York.
Right.
But what it shows is the writing style of those books behind those nature of nature books, and then you look at Dr. York's books, throughout the years, the intellect or style of writing is so similar, which they managed to point out. They show the parallels.
The vocabulary.
Parallels. Yeah, the intellect is so close. So yeah, shout out to them. That's a powerful video.
Now let me ask a question. Because speaking about, and you're right, the reason those brothers did that because when they did comparative analysis on the similarities of the writing styles, like Brother Taharka just said, man, I mean, it is like it's very strong. And another thing that I noticed that Afro Uno never necessarily have any proof for, but Amunubi Ra'apata did, as Dr. Malachi York, is the Sudanese similarity. They say that Afro Uno is from the Sudan, right? They don't really prove that, but we know that Imam Isa, Dr. Malachi York, as Imam Isa, said that he had to retrieve his birth certificate from the Hall of Records in Sudan, that he was born in Sudan. So, Brother J.Reece, what do you think? How does that tie in? I mean, they don't really give any facts to support that Afro Uno or even his identity, let alone they don't have enough evidence to say where he was born. But we do know Amanubi, as Dr. York or Imam Isa, was born in Sudan. So how do we tie those in, brother?
I think Noone is just agenda-based at this point. That the author really was. I think it would have worked better for Noone if the Afro Uno just remained a mysterious person so that he could be the forefront of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the obituary and all of it, he didn't. Now, if Dr. York was Afro Uno, he would have been happy with that because for the simple fact that he's locked away, But I think that he wasn't really concerned about the author of that information more than he was being the leader of it. He like the brother said, he want to be a leader, and he just want to be Dr. York. Anytime a grown man makes video after video after video about a man and keep talking about homosex this and moon god that over and over and over, and then that wasn't enough. Then you jumped on his son and just start with his son until you wore that out. He's agenda based. I think he got a little clique, a little crew over there with a new Queen Pooh and whoever else he got over there, and that's them. And other Noonbus that I talk to, they don't even agree with his conduct at all. Not the real ones that I've spoken to. They don't agree with his conduct, and now the light's been shined on him, and now his ego won't allow him to say that he made a mistake. Now he had to turn it around and make it that someone fooled him or deceived him. And then all the stuff that he put on Dr. York, he talk about Dr. York and sex this and sex that, but he has that thing on Destiny that the brother played where he put in a message group that he about masturbation and stuff like that. It's almost like the master teacher told us, when you point the finger at someone, you got 3 more pointing back at you. And I think this is the case with Noone. And
right.
you know, the older down here under the tree in North Carolina, the old men under the tree, they say the less you say now, the less you have to take back later. And I think that's the problem that Noone is going through right now. He said too much. And instead of trying to just correct this, his ego won't allow him to just see his he see the mistakes, he see the flaws and everything, but instead of just, you know, just picking up and just moving on with it, you know, because, you know, the Nuwapians, we're some of the most forgiving people in the world, you know. If Noone, I'm talking about David, Noel, any of them wanted to come back and just, you know, we would just embrace everybody. So we wouldn't hold nothing personal, but it's his ego that he got in this. Now at this point, I just have to say it's agenda based. He want to be a leader of and then he points the finger at cults, you know, cult this, cult that, but then he has a little small group of people within the Noone, you know, he has a sect of Noonbus, Nooneboo within the Noone organization. I don't even know if I can call it an organization. I'm not sure what it is right now. But you know, it's to the point where it's kind of like leaderless, and so he see it fit that he could come in and just assume the position of a leader of that information, and try to, you know, put out all these books and stuff like that. And there's more books.
He wants to be the leader of Noone Sons. That's what he wants to be.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why he's contacted the widow and putting out books. He wants to be the leader of Noone Sons, and I identified that years ago because in the book we showed the audio tapes that he was releasing as one Nubu or Nupu. So he wants to be a leader. That's what he wants to be.
Yeah. He wants to be Dr. York. He wants to be the teacher.
It's just at this point, you know, like with him calling, you know, more on that audio footage, that audio that I played with him talking to the police. It didn't get as far as I wanted to. He even mentioned that, and he's writing books, and he's not supposed to be writing books from prison. He did that. He did that. You know, and so I wouldn't be surprised if he's that's what he has right there. Now that's just recorded audio footage. There's no telling what he's done in the background that's not recorded or what he's doing. You know, he mentioned to the police that the master teacher write books from jail, and said, I don't know how he's doing that. He's not supposed to be doing that. So
can I just quickly interject? See, that's the reason I keep my identity quiet, as anonymous, because I know that there are devils and scum like him who they're not interested in putting out information. They're interested in slandering people. So there's no, you know, I don't give them anything to work with. The less they have, I'll take the oxygen out of the room. They have to just deal with the information. I'm not giving them anything else. Nothing else. Nothing to do with person. I changed the name on my Facebook account, not because I was scared. I changed the name of the Facebook account to shake off the fleas. So they will never do a screenshot with that name on again. They can do screenshots, but it'll have a different name on it. I don't care what name I put on Facebook. Facebook's bullshit anyway. So I'm not interested in social media and all this stuff talking. What I've got to say is in the book. Let's deal with the book. Don't give him anything to research and slander, because that's what he's good for. That's what he's good for. He's a slanderer and a snake and a police informer. That's it.
Informer.
Can I read something to you right here, Kins?
Okay, go ahead.
All right, this is from the Introduction to the Nature of Nature, Book 2.
All right.
This is a commandment law, right? It says, listen to reason. Forgiveness and mercy as religious doctrines are anti-justice dogmas, indeed forbidden in Noone society, true culture society, the same way each time that conditions are the same. Like the writer himself, everyone likes to be forgiven or be given mercy for errors and also wrongness committed. But that was for the moon cycle. Moreover, according to the laws of nature, forgiveness and mercy do not mean that punishment for the guilty was destroyed or eliminated, but simply delayed or postponed until a later date or time, like Armageddon. All right, then I'm gonna go down to a little part right here. It says that when you don't correct the lies, the problems created, the falsehoods, the deceptions, that it gets so deep in these commandment laws that if you don't atone for it or answer for it, that it falls on your family, right? It falls on the people around you. It falls on your blood lineage connection. You understand what I'm saying? But it also says that when you do apologize, you have to right the wrongs. If you don't right the wrongs, you can get a public whipping for it. Like the laws in Noone science for what he is doing, and he has these books, the laws are quite serious. And we're supposed to hold him all accountable under sound right reasoning. Right? If we're adhering to the laws of Nuwapu or even Noone science, then we are dealing with sound right reasoning, and there can't be no deception and false information, because Nuwapu and sound right reasoning is correct information. So we see he's not bringing correct information. So I wanted to impart that one of those laws that's in the introduction to the nature of nature, that if he doesn't atone for the problems he's caused, that it could be as serious as a public whipping. Like,
Oh, wow.
You understand what I'm saying? That it could fall on his family members, you know, the justice that has to come because of the injustice that he's caused.
Can I just say, I'm with you. No disrespect, brother, but I'm with Grand Kush. I don't forgive. If the Nawabians are forgiving, I'm not. Because, no, he's not getting no forgiving. He's going to get that public whipping. He's going to get beheaded, intellectually beheaded. And, yeah, we're not playing around. The Nawabians, and that's why everyone's taking, that's why everybody's being disrespectful to Nawabians, because they see you as just a bit soft now. That's what it is. But if you go back in time, when you threw a stone at Baba, you got it back in your face. That's what I know. I don't know about forgiving. I know rebuttal to the slanderers. That's the energy that I know from from Imam Isa. I don't know about no forgiveness. So no respect to you, to the elder, but I don't deal with no forgiveness. I'll bust his ass, and that's why we got the rebuttal to him. So tit for tat. Tit for tat.
Okay, I found the book. Are you searching for knowledge? Then read me.
You found it?
Yeah, can you share that screen for me?
Yep.
Because I wanna, because I think there's a typo in the obituary.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And before I do that, let me say this real quick. This is from Natural Ether Energy. And what I know, a lot of people don't realize, you know, Doc has been writing, still writing since he was in prison. Of course, we just showed the letter that he wrote James West. But it also appears that a couple years ago, I'd say about maybe 7 years, maybe 10 years ago, where Doc has now started explaining a lot of Noone science more updated or upgraded it. Because I say that because brain newts, right? When you read the nature books and they talk about brain newts, right? It never really goes in depth about what it is or its origin. And Doc is explaining right here, right? Nut, nutat, nut, newts. You see, he's explaining it because this book is about natural ether energy. It literally explains a lot of the stuff in the nature books that's left unexplained because Tarnoon and they never had any leader really spring forth to explain the nature books.
Let me jump on that with you right quick.
Okay. Go ahead.
They're not explaining it correctly.
Right.
I'm gonna say, take the time to read the introductions to the nature of nature and marry that with what Doc is saying, because that's what they're doing the disservice and the injustice.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
He's explaining right here. He says in verse 3, ether energy are the smallest particles of material matter that can exist and still be categorized as material physical matter, called the Nakat, black dot, which we know he talked about that way back in the Science of Creation scroll. And he's showing an image of ether in space, image of an atom, cells, ether in the atmosphere. He says, so note that gas is material because particles of matter any smaller than natural ether energy are classified as energy matter. That is cells, matter, energy, atoms. And just going in completely in depth, especially about the science of space and matter, science of absolute space. I mean, really just upgrading the information, because remember now, that's what he said he was here to do as the reformer. Exactly.
It's all right there.
You know what? It's all right there, man. Okay, brother. I'm gonna add your screen. Did you you want to share your screen?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
After you finish, say something. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just want to show real quick. According to that obituary, it said that the first 19.
Well, hold on. Let Brother Taharka say what he want to say, because you might you might go in depth on this. Go ahead, Brother Taharka.
All right, Khonsu, this is following off what you're saying. If you go back to the video that the newpoo.org brothers put up, yeah,
right.
If you look at the Noon Science or Newpoo, yeah, and you look at Dr. York's teachings, to me, they're two branches of the same teachings.
Yes,
one is allegorical, the other is like the opposite of that, which would be like more literal. But they're two branches of the same teaching. They marry together perfectly.
Yes.
Right.
Which is what those brothers did a brilliant job on that video. It shows that they're two arms of the same teaching. And they marry together perfectly. Those guys can't explain the teachings.
Exactly.
Can't explain it because he didn't have the foundation of reading the old books.
Right.
Grand Kush can understand it. He got a better understanding of it because he was an answer. It's simple.
Exactly.
And this brother elder as well. Because he both answers. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Facts.
They don't have the foundation. They don't know. That's why they can't really interpret it properly.
Yes.
So that's it.
Facts.
That's it.
Absolute facts. Brother J.Reece, before you start, I want to read this comment by the brother Anna Jeb. Said, also note that the hieroglyph Budge has for Nuwaba. The glyph of the Nubo can be spelled N-U or N-W. So it can be spelled Nuwaba with a W, because remember that a U and a W is just two U's. So linguistics, man, like the brother said, Doc is a linguist, man. But go ahead, my brother.
No, there's
J.Reece.
no U. There's no U in the Mejanetta. U is a vowel.
The vowel wasn't inscribed. Exactly.
It would be NWB or NWB.
That's the root. Right.
That's it.
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
All right, my brother J.Reece, you finally found a book. Is this the first book that Johnny Brown ever wrote?
According to what was in the obituary, it said that "Are You Searching for Knowledge? Then Read Me" was published in 1973, and I think that's a typo. And here's the reason why I think it's a typo. If you scroll down this book, Moonset, Sunrise, and Nature, you go all the way down here. It says written by Afro Noone. Then we get here, and bam, copyright 1993.
Wow.
And then we go further down. And it says the first publication of this book was November 23, 1993. He didn't write any books in 1973. What's available to the public has been available since the 90s, not the 70s.
Wow. You see? That rules out Johnny Eugene completely.
Yep.
Wow. Well done, bro. Well done.
Yep, that's all I wanted to share.
That's fantastic.
And I'm gonna show you another way that we can be clear that Afro Uno didn't write the BIAE or the 9-ball, right?
Okay.
So with the 9-ball, you see the brothers, they spell Nupu in even letters.
Yeah.
Nupu. So in the introduction to the nature of nature, Afro Uno says that Nupu has to be spelled in odd letters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Making it a law. So technically, Nupu, Nupu, doesn't go with Noopooh because it's even and it's odd.
I saw you build on that before, man. That's deep. That is
Yeah, I
deep.
saw that in your video.
That is
I saw that in your
deep.
video today.
Wow.
Yeah, that's deep. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he says it has to be spelled that way.
Right, right.
I saw that in your video. That's to do with supreme mathematics.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And what I'm struck by is the nature of nature seems like a different style of writing. It seems like a newer style of writing than the Bible interpretation. Seems like a different author. Seems like it's like a newer style of writing.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Okay, I have the Bible interpretations book too.
Yeah.
Here we go right here. And let's see someone who put this together. See how they did this? This is one of the reasons why people think this way. Whoever put this PDF together, they added this page right here, like a preface or something like that. But when you get into the booklet right here we go again.
Yeah.
And this was copyright in 1967. And dedicated to liberty, justice, righteousness. And in this, you'll hear like similar type of calling, Ethiopians and stuff like that. And okay, and I just wanted to bring right here. I just want to. This is that book. I just forward right here, and this is where when I seen this, the spell upon the Ethiopian and the woolly haired people. See that word woolly hair? Back in when I first came along and real serious with the Right Knowledge Scrolls, woolly hair was the explanation the way we described our hair, along with 9 ether, so when I seen the woolly hair, and then I seen right here Leviathan, the hypnotic spell of Leviathan, that's right here.
Yeah.
So that's why I made the connection that this was Panabab Yanun, and then right here you see the word Nuwapu in the book. And this is from 1967.
That's the BIE.
Let's be clear. Dr. York is one of the authors.
Yeah.
He's one of the authors of this series.
Oh,
he's one of them.
Yes.
Definitely. I'm not saying he's the original. I'm sure he's not the original. But he's definitely one of the authors.
Yep. There was an elder that was on Prince York's YouTube page, and I was trying to find it. I can't find it right now. But he was explaining this whole book right here and how the master teacher mother had a basement, and in that basement they made the books in her basement. They started off in her basement, and he mentioned this book and the creation of it.
See what we said. Go to Nubian Entertainment YouTube page. It's there. Nubian
What is it
Entertainment.
called?
Nubian Entertainment YouTube page.
Can you type it in the chat?
No, I'm on a phone. Nubian, just put in Nubian.
Okay.
Entertainment. That YouTube channel, the videos there.
Oh, got you. Oh, you lead me to the one with Prince York. I got you.
Yeah. So what we said in the book is that one of the candidates, because what we said in the book is that there are various people who could be the candidates of the original Aminubi Rakta. One of the people that we put forward as a candidate to be the original author is Oba.
Oh,
Muhammad,
wow, his brother?
Dr. York's older brother.
Wow.
Because he was the teacher of Doc when Doc came out of prison.
Okay.
You see, he was teaching when Doc was in jail, and when Doc came out of jail, he was already running the bookshop and the printing press with Doc's mum when Doc came out of jail. So Oba is someone that we should look at. He could be the secret identity of Amanu Reactor because he's Pops' older brother. Could be. Because they were producing literature in their basement of their shop.
Okay.
According to the elder.
Okay, I got you.
But what happened was Pops was such a dynamic and charismatic figure as a teacher, he outshone his older brother and started to take the limelight away. But originally, Oba was the original teacher before Doc.
Oh,
okay.
That's right. Because he said Doc was gangbanging and doo-wopping, yeah. Before he went to jail, he was involved in the gang activity and the music, doo-wopping, yeah. And Oba was teaching African science. Remember, Oba has always been into the Yoruba and African teachings. He was never really into Islam. He was into the African teachings. Right. So he's one of the candidates we put forward. He could be the secret identity of one of the early authors of the Noone science. That's a hypothesis. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's a hypothesis. I think it was more. I think it's more than Afro Uno and Doc.
Okay.
Who contributed to these works. I mean, I would definitely say Aba Nubu, Naba Nubu, Nubu are three distinct brothers that was down with Doc or down with Amanubi Ray Ata. You know, we know Doc just carried the name over. Afro Uno didn't even carry the name over. So I don't know why James West and his clique attributes Afro Uno to the writings of the 9 Ball and the BIAE when he didn't even carry the name over.
I think Doc was the most outstanding teacher. That's what I believe. I think he was the most outstanding teacher for charisma, for public speaking, and for linguistics. I think he just stood out. Yeah. So he outshone the rest.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's a good take. Yeah. Well, so we do have it established that there's no way that Johnny Eugene Brown wrote the 9 Ball series, nor did he write the Bible interpretations and explanation book.
I agree with that. That's right.
Yeah, because he said he's Nubi Ripu, so he can't. He says it out of his own mouth. He said it out of his own mouth.
And I'll step out on a limb so far as to say there's no public books of Afro Uno until 1993, after he retired from the post office.
Fantastic. And it matches up. The dates match up. With the book you just showed us, the dates match up.
Yeah.
This is how you disseminate information, not to say, oh, this is true and everybody else is lying. You have to meticulously search through all the available information to come to a conclusion. That's it.
Really. I mean, that's what scientists do.
Simple.
Right.
Yeah. You know.
Now, here's the question that comes next.
Right.
Now, after we get that established, how did this man Johnny Eugene Brown know this stuff? Where did he get this information
from? Because he was a student of Dr. York.
Okay, I'll take that.
I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that because we still have the picture of Afro Uno and Dr. York on the land.
That's classic.
We can't because that picture came after. That picture was like a confirmation, like boom, like we've been asking for it, right? People been wondering. You know, if we put it into the ethers, that's how I'm looking at it. If Al Carter had it, I mean, it came at the right time because it killed all the mystery stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It placed, so James West was like, there's no way that Dr. York knew Afro Uno. Dr. York just stole his works, blah, blah, blah. So that what was going on before the picture came out. And then the picture came out. Right? So you can't say now that Dr. York stole from Afro Unu if we got a picture of them looking at each other in the face?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
And also, let's deal with the age issue. They're saying, oh, no way Johnny Eugene could have been a student of Dr. York because he's older than him. That doesn't mean nothing. Imam Isa had people who were twice his age following him, and they called them the shehuk, the elders in the community. We know that there were elders in the community who were older than Dr. York that were his students. So age has got nothing to do with it.
True.
Age is nothing to do with it. It's about knowledge.
Now here's a vital point too, right?
Yeah.
Not only, here's the thing that really caught me, right? If you look at Johnny Eugene Brown, and if he is the one that Tarnoon is saying is Afro Uno, then my question is, where did he get this information from? And why haven't the Noonbus, after all these years, established themselves as a real organization? You know what? They don't have any bookstores. They ain't printing no books. They ain't doing nothing like that. So when you look at the resume of Malachi York compared to Eugene Brown, with no disrespect to Johnny Eugene Brown, but it's nowhere close.
Yes.
It's nowhere close to say that Johnny Eugene Brown, I mean, his resume is not fitting for that of a person who is presenting this type of deep information. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's something that always stuck with me. Like, man, you know, his credentials do not line up with Doc's credentials.
Right.
How do y'all feel about that?
From the way his book is structured, with the satellite, Repu, Sipu, and all that, and then you go over here with the those that care, and you got the Wunupu and Asanupu and all that. That's just too similar. It seemed like, and then the writing style, calling black people, so-called black people for those Aboriginals, calling everybody Ethiopian. The Ethiopian race has a description. This author, that, the reader, this. The books are too similar, and I'm not going to use that and say that Johnny Eugene wrote the 9-ball. I'm saying that he read the 9-ball or something, and that he formatted this book around it. And a
possibility, yeah.
That's a possibility.
Yeah,
that's a good possibility.
All the way down to the satellite authors or the satellite publishers. You got those who care, then you got the liberation information. It's kind of, you know.
That's right.
But I think the guy had a good the man had a good purpose, you know, and he wasn't looking for his ego to be stroked in any kind of way. You know.
That's right.
Yeah, he just wanted to get the information out.
Yep.
Right.
And if it wasn't for all this arguing about this topic and the subject, he would have remained a mystery the whole time.
That's right.
Yep.
And what we said in the book, what we said in the book is that, just following on what you're saying, what we said in the book is that if it not been for Dr. York, Tanu would have never known about this information in the first place.
Yeah.
True.
So Dr. York is the one that brought this information to the public. He made the word Nuapu a household name. If it had been left down to Johnny Eugene, we wouldn't know nothing about it.
Facts.
So that's it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you're right.
The first time you hear mention of Doc publicly, well, you know, I'm saying far as publicly, like videotape the evidence, was when he was I think it was upstate New York, and he mentioned, okay, there we go, right there. That's what I was looking for. And he was and he had mentioned, like, there's gonna be a word you're gonna hear soon called Nuwapu. And he said it that day. And he just explained that in the future we're gonna be there's science of Nuwapu, you know, I'm just paraphrasing, but he mentioned the word Nuwapu in a group setting. And that was the very first time that he mentioned it, you know, well, that I can find it publicly.
That was
he talked about it in private.
That was coming to the end of the Hebrew school. That was coming to the end of the Hebrew school, going into right knowledge.
Yep.
And he said Nawabu for the first time.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
You
Yep.
got the rebel the last the Book of Murdoch and the Holy Tablets,
Yeah.
where he goes in depth about 1967 and the
Right.
move back then and things of that nature. I mean, you
Right.
can't take the Wapu from Doc, man. You can't do that at
Right.
all.
You can't.
You
He's the
can't.
only. And another thing, he also explained. He explained that. Oh, by the way, guys, this is the video that everybody was talking about. The Proof Part 3 Alpha Uno on Nubian Entertainment Television.
Yeah.
And this is the interview with the elder Otis Wagner about his experience, as he was one of the only surviving elders during that time. So that is personal experience for him. Y'all can definitely check that out.
Good information on that interview. Very good.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's real good. So to kind of wrap things up, brothers, what do and here's the thing: we know these people have a grudge with us. They have a grudge with the truth. They have a grudge with Malachi York. But the fact of the matter is that you can't, in my opinion, you can't just use the nature books or that information as like an end all be all. It's great information. It matches in line with Nuwapo. But in my opinion, you have to have Nuwapo. You have to have both. But you have to have Nuwapo because Doc is still here. Remember, he explained to us years ago that dead leaders can't answer your questions.
Right.
And since since not even Tarnoon, he's so focused on slander, since him or none of them have picked up the torch and continue Afro Uno's work, continue Johnny Eugene Brown work, built more in depth on the teachings, then it's nothing really they can say because they're not explaining anything. You see, they're not explaining the teachings. So that's, in my opinion, that's how I use, because I got the nature books, I got all that. And it's no doubt, like we said, we have irrefutable proof that the word Nuapo is not something made up. That it was reintroduced by a linguist, as Dr. York is a linguist, and actually it's a reconstructed word. In linguistics, it's a term called reconstruction. And you have to do that sometimes because, like we said, we're dealing with words that wasn't recorded vowels, and it goes through dialectical changes. When a group of people migrate from one part of the world to another with different groups of people, their languages is going to affect that language. So then you have the words that share the same root, but yet in the different dialects it's spelled differently, but it shares the same root. So they can't refute that. We've already proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Al-Manubi Al-Apata is the master teacher. Whether it's a spiritual entity or whether it's Baba Oyo or whether it's, different beings can tap into this information or whatever, we do know that he has shown and proven himself who and what he is over the years. So in closing, Brother Adafa Tahaka, could you kind of give us something in closing? And let me say this is a debate, a call out. We have called you guys out. Y'all are not answering our responses. We is not going to continue making videos about y'all every day. We have a life. We have important stuff to do. So this is the final shutdown. You're going to put up or shut up. A live debate, respectable, open platform, judges, the whole nine, or however y'all want to do it, because it's stuff that we have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. You go look at all Grand Kush videos, look at his works, and if you go look at Brother Kush, you look like your mic is muted somehow.
Back in.
Okay, all right. But yeah, I mean that's what we on right now. That's what we got going on. So in closing, let's start with Brother Tahaka. Give us something in closing, brother, because we know that after we after we really started pushing the Lightning from the East book, it drew their attention. Then they've been doing all kind of videos on us. What do you want to say in closing, my brother?
Well, in closing, they're scared. They're terrified of the Lightning from the East. Absolutely terrified. Your appearance on Sarnetta scared the poo-poo out of them. I don't want to keep swearing, but it scared the living daylights out of them. They are scared. They're making these stupid videos out of fear. They're on the back foot. And people are going to be, the new brother that you've just brought on, it's like, you know, he's got the answer energy. I can feel it. So people are going to gravitate towards the light. They're going to gravitate towards truth.
That's right.
So we just have to keep, after the public watch this video, this build, they're going to be more and more intrigued about what we're talking about. And I think we should just carry on doing what we're doing. Maybe Grand Kush and the brother should put together a book. I would help them. We'll put together a book just about Nuabu, just about the facts of it from A to Z, and put this literature. We got to put this stuff into the universe. True. And the books will always survive. The YouTube videos, they're gonna get taken down. The YouTube videos are like sugar. They're short-term energy. But the books, you put that book out into the universe, and people will be referring to that for years. So let's just keep doing what we're doing. Let's put literature out, and that's how we're just gonna bury these clowns once and for all. That's it. And as you said, a debate. They won't come to a debate.
Nah.
Let's collect. Let's just, like what we've done today is good. Let's collect our information. Let's collect all the information that we have together and put it out. And we will see people will gravitate towards us. And I think Grand Kush should lead some kind of movement to do with Nupu and Noon Science. I think you should be the representative of it. You know what I mean? Because I've been following your videos for years. And yeah, that's it. And the new brother that you've introduced as well, maybe the two of them can work together and put the truth out. Because as you said, they've only got one side of it. They've only got one side of it. So you have to have both sides to get the full picture. They've got 50% of it. So you have to have both sides to get the 100% full picture of it. And you can't rule out Dr. York. They've tried to, but you can't remove him from this equation because he's an integral part of it. He's the star of it. The elder on the video says that he was the like they say in German, Wunderkind. When he came on the scene, he just took over because he had the charisma, the knowledge, everything. He just took over. So they're trying to remove him from the equation, but they can't. They can't. And you can't have a full understanding of this without Dr. Malachi Zio. You can't remove it. So that's why I want to say
Absolutely.
I could go on forever, but that's it.
Oh yeah.
And I don't talk much. Yeah.
Hey, real quick before you go, let's talk. You dropped the debate book versus University Rubenation versus the Noone Booze. Tell people where they can find that book and just a brief description of the book, because like you said, we don't have time to respond with these petty YouTube videos. You keep talking crap, and what you just did by dropping this book is what's going to happen, because do they even have the resources to put together a book? I mean, let's talk about that. But where can we find the book, brother?
Well, the book's available on Amazon, and I'm glad they're putting out videos because I'm just downloading their videos and dissecting them. I'm not into talking. I'm into the words. Exactly. My spirit is the spirit of Jehuti. So I deal with words and knowledge. Yeah.
That's right.
Any video they put out, I will download it and I'll just dissect it and then transcribe any mistakes they make in the books. So they better know that any mistakes they make are going to appear in that updated version of that rebuttal. It's available on Amazon. Yeah. And it is dealing with information from us, from yourself, as well as Grand Kush. And it's going to be updated with information from the brother.
And
so
my copy's on the way. I can't wait to get it.
I'm ordering mine tonight.
Keep making videos because their errors are going to be highlighted. Anything they say, all their mistakes are going to be highlighted in this. That's it.
Okay. I thank you, my brother. Brother J.Reece, you said you ordering this thing tonight?
I'm ordering it tonight. I'm getting you yours too. I'm getting both of them.
That's
Hey,
right.
let me tell you,
Okay.
for the night tonight,
Okay. Okay.
if you could show me that picture one more time, man. So I can have a good shadow hour. I just need to see that picture one more time, man.
Which one?
Brother Eugene Brown and Dr. Malachi Z. York.
Oh, okay.
Face to face.
He gonna hook you up.
Oh my God. Hey, look, listen. You don't understand.
That's the beauty of books. That's the beauty of books, because it's documented. Everything's documented.
Can you make his big man, that picture is clear as day. How did I miss this, man?
Yeah.
How did I ever miss this?
Hey, J.Reece, I'll send it to you. I still got the pic.
Okay, all right,
I'll send it to you.
Wow. Big up to Carter, man.
Yeah, for real, man. For real.
All right.
Hey, you know
Brother J.Reece.
He dropped the picture and didn't say nothing about it.
What's that?
Brother J.Reece, what you got to say in closing, man? And this won't be I'm gonna say this. We're not gonna chase a losing battle.
No.
But we'll be back. We got to have this brother on again, and we about to put in some major work. But in closing, Brother J.Reece, and let me say thank you for that information. I did not know about Tarnoon's book and his contradictory statements in the past. But in closing, my brother, what do you got to say?
All I want to make it known is this is not an attack on Noonbus or the information or the doctrine or Alpha Unu, Johnny Eugene Brown. He's an elder. I respect him. I also respect the cult sect of Noonbus. I just don't respect their actions and the way they do. I don't respect their slander. I know me and James West had a lot of interaction going back and forth with each other. I don't disrespect him as a man. I just disrespect him as pertaining to this doctrine and this information and the way he's, the way he's trying to twist it and remix it and make it seem like that we're claiming Alpha Uno as Dr. Malachi Z. York. And today I hope that the public can see now that he was the one that was spreading that misinformation, and he's responsible for it single-handedly.
That's right.
That's right. That's a fact, boy. Woo, that's a fact.
Yep.
And we're not going to stop. Brother Grand Kush, as a long-time fact checker and a long-time threat to Tarnoon and his squad, my brother, I want you to, because here's the thing. I mean, like I said earlier, we have things to do, but they seem to want to concentrate on mostly slander over the facts and the teachings, because I've seen a lot of your videos, and what you're doing is you correcting them based on the teachings. And so in closing, my brother, because we got to come back for a part 2, but in closing, take us home with something, my brother, based on this this issue with Noone and the whole situation with Noon Science and the Wapu. Close us out, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. First of all, I want to say this is a great show. I want to give a shout out to Brother Taharka. Shout out to J.Reece. Shout out to my brother Khonsu. Taharka, thanks for the words. We got to understand there is a moon god out here. Doc talks heavily about the moon god. You got to understand 3 ether, and we got to understand spirit possession, right? So
deep.
We've seen the activity of James West, his disgruntledness, right? His smear campaign against Dr. York, him being a groupie of Dr. York. And at the end of the day, we see he's only clout chasing and trying to get some type of fame off of this. This video was going to definitely show that they're not ready for the heat. I don't think they're going to step up for a debate. But in watching this video, they'll know where they are, where we're placing them, and what they got to do to dig out of this hole.
That's right.
Even if they want to take up the challenge. Yep. So yeah, I think this video right here is gonna let them know. Like you said, we don't have no time to be answering to the videos.
That's right.
They're really true Nooney Boos. They'll step up to the plate and represent. And if they don't represent, well, they got this to look back on. So, you know,
That's right.
great show, brothers. You know what I mean? And I'll leave it right there. Thanks for having me on the show.
That's right, my brother. Hey, man, we appreciate you. And like the brother said, listen, this is just, I didn't want to go too deep into everybody's sources and receipts because the brother J.Reece, Grand Kush, got some receipts and sources we ain't even going to talk about. The brother Taharka done already dropped the book. So not only do you have this video to respond to, Tarnoon, you have the book as well. So if you accept the challenge or not, it really doesn't matter with us. We got a lot more work to do that involves a lot more important things than you. Because we're never going to give everything away on a YouTube video anyway. We ain't going to give you all what we got. We want to save it for if you grow the courage to get in the ring. But man, I just want to thank all y'all brothers for joining us. We did a long video tonight. We went over a lot of stuff, a lot of great feedback, a lot of great support. Let me say,
those who watch the show. Thanks to all of the Wapians in the house that watch the show and participate.
Oh yeah,
thank
absolutely. You. Yep. And this is part 5. I'm doing 19 parts of Rebuttal to the Slander. 19 videos. This is 5 of 19. All right.
Okay.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Brother Khonsu, the Real Nuwapian. Big up to the University of Ruba Nation, Nuwapian Nation, the Sabians. We are all here in love and unity, and warriors and soldiers of Malachi and friends of Malachi. If you guys have any information that you might want to help us with as far as research, maybe y'all have some information on that Chuck Morgan issue and stuff that we are talking about. If you do, we definitely need your contribution. Listen, we do this thing as a unified front, and we will be strong as ever. All right, we'll be super strong as ever.
For the record, I just want to say, finally, for the record, he's put out a video where he's got me. I had a conversation with him, and he's got me saying that I think Dr. York is guilty. It's a typo, and if you read the comment, it's clearly saying that I was supporting Dr. York, and it's a typo where I said I meant to say he was innocent, but I mistakenly, it's a typo. So I'm just putting that out, and I'm gonna address that in the rebuttal because he's a little snake slanderer. What he doesn't know is I've debated him and I've clashed with him hundreds of times on many forums on different names. So why then would I turn around and say Dr. York was guilty when I'm the one who was fighting all of them, saying that Dr. York was innocent for the past 15 years? Why would I turn around and say he's guilty? No, doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
So I'm just putting that out. I'm putting that out to your face. I never said he was. I never meant he was. It was guilty. It's a typo because I write so quick. So it's a typo. So do what you want with it. That's it.
Well, of course, we know that because you're the main one of the main contributors to the Man of Many Faces and Lightning from the East. So, you know, and they'll do little stuff like that. I mean, they will troll your posts and try to twist your word. I mean, just any petty argument they can come up with, they will, but they won't get in the ring. They won't challenge us. They can't defeat us intellectually. Exactly. They can't defeat us intellectually, and they can't defeat our works and our progress that will not stop. Lightning from the East, everybody, y'all already know that book is out, Man of Many Faces. Make sure y'all check that book out because we go in depth on all of the slanderers. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank everybody on the platform. And we definitely going to be coming back with part 6 probably within the next 2 weeks. And you won't, the guys you've seen on the panel tonight, just will not be the first. Excuse me, this will not be the last time you see them. All right. So we're going to sign out. Brother Khonsu, the Real Nuwapian. Peace, love, and light. Good energy, good vibes, right knowledge. And we are taking the heads off the slanderers. Signing out. Wadu you saw.
Wadu. Wu Ashak.
Adafa.